Oh, and I forgot to bring our live video stream on the air, so we just turned that on. Sorry about that, folks. So welcome into a Friday edition of the Computer America Show. No behind the scenes, and we'll have a little behind the scenes after the show, so for all our video watchers. But anyway, it's Friday! Yes, we made it to Friday. Once again, we have survived another week here on Computer America. It's been a really crazy week for us here. Ben is not here with us tonight. He has some last-minute things that he has to do. I know, but don't worry, he'll be back with us next week. Okay, so he'll be back being my co-host. And let's see what else. Oh, and since of course it's Friday, that means we're gonna have a show reminder winner of the week. That's right. So, yes, the crowd always goes well when they hear that. So we have a great show planned for you tonight, and now, as I said, Ben's not going to be here with us, but we've done this before with my guest, and certainly let's bring him in because remember it's Friday. That means we're going to be all over the road tonight. It's just going to be fun stuff. But let's bring him on, and then we'll I guess we'll get everything started. So let's do that. Ah, yes. We know what that music means. He's back. Bond is back. And we've got him. It's all Bond on tonight's show. He's Bond. He's Ralph Bond. Ralph Bond is a correspondent for the Computer America Show. He's the author of Family Computer Fun, Digital Ideas Using Your Photos, Movies, and Music, and that's published by Q Publishing. He's also the co-author of the PC Dad's Guide to Becoming a Computer Smart Parent, and that's published by Dell Publishing. Ralph was Intel's Consumer Education Manager for more than 10 years, and for nearly the past 8 years, he's been part of Autodesk's communications team. Ralph, welcome into Computer America. How are you?
I'm doing great. How's everybody doing? It's Friday. Yay!
I flubbed that for the nearly past 70. It's going to be the 8th year coming up next month. So
yeah,
it's a little bit. So for the almost 8 years, it's coming up to 8. So almost 8 years he's been part of Autodesk Communications. How do you like that so far? Time flies.
Oh gosh, I'll tell you. In fact, what I've seen in just 8 years being with Autodesk is a complete transformation. The company's amazing. As listeners who catch our Friday shows when I'm on know, Autodesk is an amazing company. AutoCAD would be the product most people would know, but Autodesk, of course, has lots and lots of other activities going on, and they've evolved to this amazing company, very heavily involved these days with 3D printing and so forth as well. So they're really cutting edge and just great people, wonderful culture, and I'm just delighted to be part of that family.
We had a guest on this week that was with the They had done a 3D printing Kickstarter called Kudo. They're called Kudo 3D. I don't know if you've ever seen it. And
no.
Yeah, they're making a printer called the Titan One, and they're talking with Autodesk. I mean, they are actually they've created I think it's around $3,000 printer. It's much faster than the $15,000 printers, and a much larger product. It prints a bigger product than even the bigger ones. It's one of the biggest ones. And it fits on your desktop. I mean, it's a small little thing, very modern. Yeah, and I'll send you the link later on or during the break. But you can actually you can go to it's kudo3d.com, Ralph. So you can.
I will check it out.
You'll check it out. So yeah, and Autodesk's name came up during the show. So because they work with them, they work with the files that the AutoCAD produces. So
yeah,
exactly. Well, listen, if you don't work with AutoCAD, you're not working. So
or you're working at something else.
Something else, but not the good stuff. So anyway, let me tell you what we're going to do now. Ralph, of course, is our correspondent. He appears on the second Friday of every month, and he goes out and finds all kinds of cool stories to discuss with us. And while we're doing that, you should know that we will also talk to you if you have a question or comment or something. We'll try to do that. But we're kind of all over the road because we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about movies. We're just going to have a good time. It being Friday night, not that we don't always have a good time on other nights too, but it's just kind of a crazy night for Friday night. And now, if you want to interact with us, you can. You can pick up the phone and give us a call. It's 347-884-8881. That's 347-884-8881. We'll get you on and get you through. We also have email. If you're a little radio shy, you don't want to go on the air, it's live, L-I-V-E, at computeramerica.com. You can also join us in our live interactive add-on chat room. From our homepage at computeramerica.com, you'll see the button there right in the middle of the screen says chat room/video. Just click that, and you'll see our chat room page, and it'll ask you for a username. That's the name you'll be known by when you go in there. There's an option to put in a password, but you don't need to do that. Just leave that blank. It explains to you what the password's for on there if you want to read about it. Just click the sign-in button, and your Java-enabled browser on a Mac machine, Windows, Linux, they all work. Will move you into the Computer America chat room. You can also now sharing that very same page is our live Computer America video streaming page, and that's brought to you by Other World Computing. Quality products, expert support since 1988. Now celebrating their 25th anniversary. Look, here's the thing. Go visit them at www.macsales.com. I mean, they've got all kinds of things at that website. If you're looking for anything for your Mac, and I don't care if it's memory, I don't care if you have a Mac that goes back to 1998. I mean, they have memory, legacy Macs. If you need portable battery replacements for your Mac, you don't know where to go, they have them. And not only that, they have installation videos to show you how to put this stuff in. They have their own YouTube channel. That's right. They have their own YouTube. You can watch all of this. And it's just an amazing website. I mean, they have their blog, which is rocketyard.com. It's a new blog. It's been up just for a little while. Here's the thing. Anything you order at macsales.com, if it's over $49, you get free ground shipping. And for about 80% of the country, that's 2 days for most places. So free ground shipping for anything over $49. And you can check out their new Aura line of solid-state drives. 120 gigabyte drive, $95. You can get the external case for $20 more. It's just a really nice system. They're all going to be starting their how-to articles. They're going to be answering questions like, what's an SSD? What's a RAID system? They're going to have that too. And here's the other thing. If you have a PlayStation 4 or an Xbox, they have upgrades. So if you want to make the hard drive bigger on your PlayStation 4, they have a 1 terabyte drive, and it's not just a 1 terabyte drive. It's a hybrid drive. So it's a solid state and a 1 terabyte drive. Yeah, exactly. And they give you a flash memory stick for it. They even give you the flippin' screwdriver, so you can put this thing in. They give you everything. $114.
I want it.
Yeah, They even have a 1.5 terabyte drive too. I mean, they have. Look, here's the thing. Go to www.macsales.com. www.macsales.com. It's Other World Computing. Now, I got to do it right here. Okay, there's the logo. See? Nice.
Is it ticklish?
Nice. Yeah, exactly. Other World Computing for all your Mac needs. Check them out. They got some great deals there and a lot of hidden things too. Just go on the website and just noodle around and see all this stuff. You're going to be happy that you went there. Really, macsales.com, and they sponsor our live Computer America video streaming page. Okay, so let's now here's the other thing. If you want to follow along with us tonight, we make it really simple. All you have to do is go to computeramerica.com right there, and you go under the archives pull-down menu, and you'll see this. The third item is our show notes. Well, if you click the show notes, it'll say click here to read the show notes. Click it again, and our show notes will appear, and you'll see today's show, July the 11th, 7/11. Okay. And you'll see both hours. It's time for Bond. Ralph Bond. Ralph Bond is a hyperlink. You click on it, it'll take you to his website. However, and you can see some of the topics tonight. It's all listed there. But if you read further down, there's a link there that says Cheat Notes. It's a hyperlink. If you click on that hyperlink, you're going to be pleasantly surprised because it's going to open up another browser window, and it's going to launch a Google Docs document, and you will be able to see everything that we're talking about tonight. Now, Ralph prepares this. Not only do you read the text, you get links to the things that we're talking about. You can see pictures of the things that we're talking about. It's all right there. Sometimes you can see YouTube videos. It's all in that document, and you can just follow along with us. And if you have more interest in a particular topic that we're talking about, all you have to do is just see it. You have all the links, everything you need to know, to the stories, where Ralph found them. Everything is on the cheat notes. So I highly recommend that you just click on it and follow along. Again, computeramerica.com archives, and you pull down the show notes, and it'll click on that show notes, and you will see everything there. And it's called the cheat notes, right, in today's show. 7-Eleven, I didn't realize it's 7-Eleven.
Slurpee night.
Slurpee night. Okay. I was thinking more of the game of craps, but 7-Eleven, Slurpee. It all depends.
You just live a faster lifestyle than me, Craig. What can I say?
Not that much faster, trust me. Okay. So we're going to get started. I guess we might as well get started. And again, we're going to do some movie reviews, and I think we'll do our show reminder winner of the week probably in the second hour. We'll usually do that in the second half of the second hour, but you never know. Just to keep you off balance, we might do it sooner. So let's start off, and this first story is really interesting because the headline reads, and this is from Gizmodo.com. It says your next phone could communicate using magnetism. Magnetism.
Yeah.
Okay. What's this?
I know this. I mean, obviously, when I saw that headline, just like your reaction, I went, "Wait a minute." This sounds kind of interesting because, of course, as the story says here from Gizmodo.com, as you mentioned, story starts off. It says 3G, NFC, Bluetooth, and Wi-Fi are all well and good, but there's perhaps an even geekier, I love that, geekier wireless protocol in town, and it uses magnetism for your phone to communicate.
Hey, Matt,
now, this is really...
My phone is stuck to the microphone here. Let me pull it up. Okay.
Yeah. Well, it's your magnetic personality, Craig. That's the deal.
Stuck to my face now. Exactly.
There it is. Well, maybe that's all the dental work stuff.
Oh!
Old school metal dental work that everybody's having removed.
There's no dental work.
Oh man, is it Friday? Okay, so going on with the story, it says the neat thing about using magnetism to get your phone transmitting data is that it already has the sensors on board. Now, I'm not an expert about the internal organs of a typical smartphone or cell phone, so this is all kind of new to me. It says the developers of Pulse, P-U-L-S-E, are using the magnetometer. Did I get that right?
Magnetometer.
Oh, I got it. Thank you, Craig. Magnetometer on phones usually used to measure direction using the Earth's magnetic field to receive information by varying the magnetic field in the surroundings of the phone. Already my brain is sort of melting, but it talks about a reference to New Scientist magazine explains how it works, and they say here, by encoding data in varying magnetic field, they have shown that they can transmit anything from a web address to a MIDI music sequence from the electromagnet to the phone. That means a small electromagnet embedded in an interactive street poster could do the job of a printed QR code, say, with the benefit of an advertiser being able to regularly change the URL. I mean, this is all kind of out there. So it says, so far, they can't shift or send much data at a time. They've only achieved 40 bits per second so far, and even then it only works over a range of about 2 centimeters. So you right away you kind of go, oh, well, all right, so what? But you know how it is with technology. Just wait. It says, but the team suggests that it could be used to make NFC transmissions, which can be intercepted up to 20 centimeters away, more secure by providing a handshake when the device is an inch away from the payment terminal, for example. And then I, wanted to refresh myself on NFC. That's near field communications, a contactless Wi-Fi light style tech that could already be in your smartphone and could soon be a regular feature on your commute. This one reference I found said. It goes on with the story, though, says, regardless of application, though, I love the idea of my phone using magnetism more. The research is to be presented at the annual, I love this. I love the name of this conference. Annual Ubiquitous Computing Conference in Seattle, Washington in September, according to New Scientist magazine. Now, there's a video. Talk about the show notes, folks. Craig's right. Please go out, get the show notes. It's so much fun. You'll get to see the pictures, but I've also embedded a really cool YouTube video there. You can see the link is provided, and you can see a demo of it looks like they've got the breadboard there and on a smartphone, and they're demoing how this is going to potentially work. So something to check out, and who knows, maybe someday your magnetic personality will transmit data to and from your smartphone.
Or your magnetic phone will. You might have zero personality, but the phone will. It's interesting because near field communications, NFC. I mean, they have them now. I mean, they have vending machines in Europe. They have them.
Yeah, that's right.
Walk up to your vending machine and you buy a Coke and you hold your phone.
Yeah, you just hold it up.
And hold it up, and it's done. Now, I have seen some similar things here in the U.S., but not as smooth yet. I mean, I have seen some where you can use your smartphone with an app and everything, but that's not near-field communications. The NFC, I mean, you literally just hold your phone up, and it gets everything it needs to know. It does a transaction. Something costs $1.50 or whatever it is, 50 cents. It does it. Now, I'm assuming that most of them, although I would think that some of them charge you for that, that luxury of using your phone. They're going to probably have some little small surcharge.
I'm sure. Yeah.
But the point is, if you don't have a bunch of change, or you don't have the right change, and you see something in the vending machine, you want to have a drink, just use your phone, and you got it. So if it has near-field communications. Now, iPhones do not have NFC. None of them do, but a lot of the Android phones here in the U.S. do have them. So
yeah, Craig,
it's bigger.
Craig, I was just thinking of an application, picking up on what you were just saying about in vending machines in Europe where you hold your smartphone up and so forth. Every once in a while, I live on the about 17 miles west of Portland, our big city, the big city. And so every once in a while, my wife and I, like the little farmers we are out here in Hillsboro, drive into the big city to see my daughter and my son. Well, parking, when you go into the city, they have the parking meters, but you have to go to a kiosk, and you have to put your card in, and you have to get a printed out ticket thing and all this. Wouldn't it be great? Your idea just made me think of this. Wouldn't it be cool if I could walk up to the parking meter, just hold my smartphone, and I could use my smartphone to say I want 30 minutes or an hour or 2 hours, and it's all a transaction, all just taken care of wirelessly on the spot instead of having to walk up down the street to some kiosk, print out this goober, come back, stick it in my car. I mean, there's all kinds of wonderful applications if you can have wireless communication with your smartphone and a device like a kiosk.
Yeah, that's true. And now there are apps out there. I have one here on my smartphone, on my iPhone here. I don't know if you can see it. It's called. You can. It's called Passport, and you can download it for free on iTunes. And certain cities in the United States already have it set up. When you go to a parking meter.
Oh, nice.
You just tap the passport, and the parking meter sees it, responds, and you've got your.
I love it.
Money in. So I have it. I've set it up, and actually they have it in North Carolina, and I think certain places in Florida too. But they charge you for it. Now, if it's a quarter for 15 minutes, or I mean, they're going to charge you $1, I think, to use the app.
Oh.
But if you don't have the quarter, it beats going around and say, "Hey, do you have a quarter, mister?"
Yeah.
$1, if you need it, I've got it, and again, it's called Passport, and that works, I know, on the iPhone. I think they have an Android version of it too. But
very cool.
Again, the city has to subscribe to the Passport system to do that, and I know in the city where I live, it does. So it's there if I ever need it. Usually I have quarters, but you never know. So yeah, but I think it's cool. Magnetism, yet another way. But I don't think you have to wait for the magnetism thing because there's so many other technologies as you mentioned. You know,
Right.
Bluetooth,
Right.
all of them that will use it now. So okay, all right. So we're doing computer technology stories from Ralph Bond, and again, you can watch them and see them and kind of follow along on our show notes page. If you download the cheat notes, you can see everything there for you. Um, so this story too, it's a quiz. What famous internet animal are you? An internet animal? Okay. All right. All right.
Yeah, this is a great story. I couldn't resist this because I took the test, and I'll tell you what animal I fit the category for. I just started laughing. Anyway, PC Magazine put together this fun little test or quiz or survey, and it comes out. The end result tells you what famous internet animal you most likely fit in terms of personality. Talking about magnetic personalities a moment ago. It's a great thing. Again, the show notes, folks, because the link, if you want to take the little survey yourself and find out what internet animal you most closely align with, you need the link. You need to go out and click the link and do the survey and so forth. And I think I can tell Craig by the look on his face, he's involved right now trying to figure out what animal he is. Well, I took the survey, but let me tell you the story here a little bit. It says, I love this opening line in this article. This made me laugh and laugh. The internet is for porn and cats. Porn and cats. And, you know, I can't speak to the former in private company or public company, but cats. Oh yeah, I love the cat videos, and I love Grumpy Cat. Right, Grumpy Cat's probably one of the most famous internet animals on the planet. And there's so many cats. It says you probably can't get through an average day online without seeing a couple of cute fuzzy faces, either dogs or cats, and so forth. Now, PC Magazine says take our quiz to find out which furry internet star you're most like. Maybe you're a bit grumpy, or a little dramatic, or are just plain adorable. Well, I was not the latter two things. I was grumpy. I took the test, and it decided that I best matched Grumpy Cat. But it did try to make me feel better by saying, you're not actually grouchy. That's just how your face is. Thanks. Okay, maybe sometimes you're actually grouchy, but only because sometimes you'd just like people to stop bugging you and let you have some alone time. Well, that's what my man cave's for. So, you know, there you go.
No one there, nobody bothers you.
Grumpy Cat. You gotta love that guy.
Look at that face. Oh my god.
Oh, it's awesome. Grumpy Cat. Do you know the story about Grumpy Cat, Craig? Do you know about this guy?
Yeah, but tell me.
Well, yeah, he's got a. If you look at the picture, he has some kind of, I don't know if the deformity is the right word, a little, misshapen muscle structure or something that makes it appear that he's, frowning and grimacing all the time. And of course, he's not. It's just the way his little body is. But his owners has turned Grumpy Cat into this international superstar. There's books on Grumpy Cat. There's swag. You can get T-shirts. All this stuff. Grumpy Cat is a superstar.
Grumpy. Look at him.
Yeah, he's awesome.
He looks very grumpy. Okay. So, cute story. So moving on to story 3. Now this one says early Android L tests shows serious battery life improvement. This is interesting.
Yeah, well, I think all of us, anybody who has a smartphone, carries around these kind of devices, especially, Craig, as they're getting larger and larger, right? And the screen and all this, of course, is consuming more energy. And as we're wanting to be more connected all the time, energy is a big problem. My wife has an older iPhone, and the darn thing now basically can't hold a charge for much of a day at all. And that's really driving her nuts, so she's thinking about upgrading to a new phone pretty soon. But this story was in Engadget.com, a story by Steve Dent, and the link is in the show notes again and so forth. But let me give you the background here. It says one of the big reveals about Android 4.4 KitKat's successor called Android L, that's the letter L like in Lima, was Project Volta. Now, I haven't heard about this, so I thought this was interesting. It says Project Volta is all about new tweaks to improve battery life, and these include a new application program interface that schedules minor tasks better, a battery historian, interesting, to track battery sapping activities, and ART, a more efficient runtime. There's also a battery saver mode that kicks in aggressively when only 15% of your battery life remains. That's very clever. One of the things, I'll stop for a second, because one of the things I always love is learning about people getting more and more clever about squeezing out battery life from our products. I just think it's cool. It goes on to say, now the developer preview has been in the wild or turned loose. Ars Technica has put it through its paces along with a number of users on the XDA developer forums. The results? So far, so good, with some caveats. Under tightly controlled conditions, Ars Technica managed a whopping 36% better battery life than the KitKat generation phones without even using the battery saver mode. 36% better. That's extremely important. Many XDA users saw comparable results, though battery life was actually worse than on an Android 4.4 for some users. However, that was likely influenced by applications and other factors. One user noticed WhatsApp, that's What's an app run together, sucking 15% of his battery life, likely a beta bug. And it goes and concludes, it says here in the article, we'll be running our own battery tests, as it were, but the takeaway for now, hey, it's still a developer preview, but we're optimistic. And again, bravo to anybody who can get more battery life for our products.
Okay. And now, again, I can't refresh mine. Do you use an Android phone or an iPhone?
No, I've got an iPhone, right, but I don't have a champagne iPhone like some people.
Oh, well,
I'm just not there. I'm not that cool.
Who will go nameless, but, you know, large thing in front of my face. It looks like a gold iPhone 5S, but okay.
So I got a question. Hey, actually, I do have an iPhone question for you, Craig. My wife's phone, as I told you, is conking out, and I think it's a 4, and she's at a crossroads. Should I go for what is it? The latest one is the 5S. Is that right? The current one you can get, 5S. She said, you know, should I go for that, Ralph? And I think that's what I have. Or should I wait? Is there something really going to be great about the 6 that I should wait for? Any opinion or thoughts about this?
Yeah, I would wait for the 6. It's going to be probably in October when they unveil the iWatch and the other things. But the 6,
oh, I see.
I would think that you should wait because I think that there's going to, from what I'm seeing, it looks like there's going to be something good. And it'd be crazy just, you know, a couple of months. If she can hold out, great. If she can't, if she needs it now, then go with the 5S. But I would say if she can wait till October, you know, do the wait. That's my advice.
And Craig, here's another point. She's heard, and I've read, and you have too, of course, that the 6, or at least maybe one of the versions of the 6, will be much larger format, kind of like the larger format. But she doesn't want that. She wants the smaller size. Will there be a choice, do you think?
Yeah, I think there will. Yeah, I think that just like they had the 5C and the 5S. You know, they have 2 different versions. I think they'll have 2 different models.
Okay, so, good.
Okay. Yeah, so
we just used everybody's time to deal with my personal family problems.
You see, you're not the only one, because I think there are a lot of personal family problems that are having that same.
I agree.
Indecision. You know, well, should I buy the iPhone or a 5S, or should I wait till the 6 comes out?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and probably give you this. If you buy a 5S now, you're going to be disappointed because then you're going to want the 6 when you see it, and you're going, I should have waited. So. If you need the phone, if you dropped it, it's broken, or whatever it is, or you can't make it last another month or another couple of months, well then of course, and then get something. But maybe get another inexpensive one or something like that. And then,
no, that's a thought. Yeah.
You know, and just until they come out with that. All right. Anyway, we're at the bottom of the hour break. Ralph Bond and I are doing computer stories that he selected for a show. Coming up, an activity tracker that measures calories in any food. Wow. One of the stories that's coming up. And also, get ready to stream 4K content from your phone to your TV. Those stories and more coming up on the Computer America Show. Stay with us.
Hey everyone, have you heard about the No hair removal device that's sweeping the globe? If you want to go weeks without shaving and get smooth, professional quality results, here's our favorite host, Cheryl, for No hair removal.
Thanks. Hey gals, I love talking about my No. It's this cute little hair removal system that you can take with you and use almost anywhere at home or on the road. No more expensive in-office treatments, painful waxing, and no more wasting your valuable time. Got unwanted facial hair? No has patented Thermocon technology that works on all hair and skin colors, so it's perfect for using on all body parts. And now you can take advantage of this incredible risk-free trial. Get the No, the facial kit, a travel case, and a $100 discount shopping card, and you don't risk a penny to try it. Try the incredible No hair completely risk-free. Call 1-800-953-5415. That's 800-953-5415. 800-953-5415.
Looking for a best friend? Brother Wolf Animal Rescue has your best friend waiting just for you. Their mission is to protect and enhance the lives of companion animals and the people who love them. Their no-kill rescue shelter is open year-round, making it easy for people to adopt their best new friend. This year, Brother Wolf will find homes for over 2,400 orphan dogs, puppies, cats, and kittens. All have ended up as an orphan through no fault of their own. Brother Wolf has created a safe, nurturing environment where these special animals can heal emotionally and physically until they find a lifelong home. Their life-saving transport program brings dogs and puppies from overcrowded shelters in the south to rescues in the north where homes are easier to find. Brother Wolf Animal Rescue is a 501c3 organization. To learn more about their life-saving work and to make a donation, visit their website at www.bwar.org. That's www.bwar.org. Help to realize Brother Wolf's vision when no animal is euthanized for lack of a home.
Who's a good boy?
Good day. This is Marty Winston for Computer America with a news tips bulletin review of acoustic sheep run phones. Acoustic sheep run phones are a novel alternative for listening to audio. Stereo transducers are placed inside a stretchy fabric headband. They're removable when it's time to launder the headband, and these float over your ears. Now, transducers are what's inside many headphones and not quite built the same as speakers. So, like on-ear headphones, these let in the sounds of the world. They are not amplified. We found the sound adequate when playing tracks on a handset and a tablet with their volume cranked almost all the way up. The specs claim a wide frequency response, but these are clearly mid-range transducers with some compromises in sensitivity toward the low end. The voices of Leon Redbone and Dean Martin, for example, have usually sounded deeper. This isn't a major handicap. Even audio purists can appreciate hearing anything at all during exercise. So, bottom line, acoustic sheep run phones are a handy way to listen to both your player and your surroundings. This is Marty Winston with a News Tips Bulletin Review for Computer America.
And welcome back to the Computer America Show. It's 33 minutes past the hour, and Ben is off tonight. It's going to be just me and Ralph Bond. And we are talking... No, don't shoot yourself. And we're doing
No,
these...
it's me.
Yeah. Oh, I thought you were doing this.
No, it hasn't gotten to that yet.
Okay. The night is young. You know, we still have so much more to do. But we're doing stories, the computer stories that Ralph finds on the internet and over the month, and then he appears here usually the second Friday of the month, and then talks about all these really cool things that he finds. Now I understand, by the way, before we get to this next story, that you're going to go on a sabbatical next week.
Hey, that's right. Yes, Autodesk, being the amazingly wonderful place that it is, gives every so many years that you work for the company, you get this 6 weeks of like super paid vacation. So it's mind-boggling. And the first part of it, my wife and daughter and I are going to go to Ireland, which is going to be fun. And yeah, that's going to be really a kick. And because on both my paternal and maternal sides of my family, if you go back in the food chain there of my ancestry, I have Irish stuff going on there. So it's sort of like the classic American going back to Ireland to kind of pretend they have a reason to be there. Of course, it's all really about the beer. But anyway, that'll be fun.
I thought you were going to go like the typical, like go to Disney World or something, or Vegas, but no, you're going to Ireland.
Going to go to Ireland.
Ireland. Are you going to stay in one of those little inns or one of the castles there, or where are you going to be staying?
Yeah. Actually, what we're going to do, we're flying to Dublin, and then we pick up a rental car. My wife and daughter are really good at planning all these kinds of things, and they've done a ton of research, of course, on the internet, and they found all these, like, I guess, basically bed and breakfast kind of places, and so we're going to drive basically the whole kind of circle of the island and come back to Dublin and then fly home. So it's going to be cool.
That's that, and you have 6 weeks to spend out there. But you're going to stay for a week? You gonna do it?
Yeah, we're going to be there about a week and a half, and then when I come back home, I'm going to do millions of chores that I've wanted to do. And what I mean by that is all my family movies, which over time I got them off of the tapes, starting with the original VHS tapes of my little kids when they were babies, that kind of stuff, right? And the smaller tapes as tape technology progressed, and got that stuff digitized. But now I want to organize it. And actually, Craig, what I'm going to do is get everything on little SD cards, like 32 gig SD cards, and get one set to keep in the house and one set to put in the safe deposit box at the bank, so that if, God forbid, the house burns down or something, I'll have pictures and videos of the whole family history, right, safely digitized. And it's something that takes so much time, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to do that after we come back from Ireland. That's one of my major projects I'm going to do, along with everything I'm going to be told to do by she who must be obeyed.
Okay. But obeying,
and you know what that means.
Yeah, but obeying her is so much fun, I'm sure, right? So.
That's why you have a man cave.
So anyway, we're continuing on. Again, you can read all the stories on our show notes page at computeramerica.com on today's show, 7/11/2014, and you just click on the cheat notes link that's there with Ralph Bond's description, and you can follow along and see the images and all the links. Story 4. At last, an activity trackers that measure calories in any food are almost here. Now tell us about this.
Yeah, this is really fun. Now it's in the early stages of development, so don't get too excited, but it's very, very interesting. This is a story from PocketLint.com, a UK-based website that listeners who've listened to me and Craig and our co-hosts talk about this is one of my favorite places. It's this quirky UK-based. It's pocket-lint.com. This is a story by Luke Edwards. I've got the link in there for you. You can go check it out. You can see the photo if you're looking at the show notes, and that sandwich right now is starting to look really good. Turkey, ham, Swiss cheese, a nice pickle. Anyway, I digress. The story says, imagine not only tracking calories burned using an activity tracker, like so many of us have, right, but also calories eaten. It would make staying healthy and maintaining a stable weight much easier, and it's nearly here. He says scientists at GE Labs, General Electric Labs in New York, are currently perfecting a technique that uses microwaves to scan any food and instantly deliver its calorie count. Now, that's a pretty formidable task if you stop and think about that for a moment. We could go on and on and on with a lot of things, but I'll go ahead and read the story here and we'll chat about this. It says this universal calorie counter could find its way into an activity tracker or working with one once it's perfected. The tracker breaks down food into 3 groups: water content, fat content, and weight. Using an equation, it can then determine calories, they claim, within 5% accuracy. Wow. At the moment, it's only being used on liquids. Okay, there you go. There's but wait. But a unit for solids, like the prototype pictured in the article, is being developed. The next stage could be activity trackers that work with these units. If there's a way around weighing the items, perhaps the scanner could even be built into the tracker or a phone which already uses microwaves anyway. It's still early stage stuff, but very exciting. Indeed, I agree, for the future of health tracking. And this is one of the things, as you know, Craig, and some of the listeners who've been with us for years know I'm a cardio patient, had open heart surgery, all this good stuff. And, of course, watching my calorie intake and all this sort of thing. Very, very important. But probably the single most difficult thing to do for anyone who has a health situation is really watching their weight and activity is counting calories.
Yeah.
Right? That's a pain in the fanny. You sit there with these charts, what a banana is so many calories, or then you have to add it up or fool around, and there's all these well-intended applications. I'm sorry, I need something that's going to take that sandwich, like the one in the picture, scan it, and say, Ralph, don't do it. It's 710 calories. Don't do it. Tastes great, but don't do it.
There you go. Why do things that taste great are always so bad for you? I don't know.
Well, you know, my wife, for the 4th of July, bought a bag of Lay's classic Ripley potato chips.
Yeah.
Oh, God. I said, don't open that bag. Don't open it. I can't control myself. And
Yeah.
she opened it today, and I confess.
Yeah. It was
Guilty.
good. Yeah. Okay. Hey, yeah. I think if you do things in moderation, that helps. If you
Well, that's the problem.
you
Do moderation.
can't do moderation. Okay, once you start, you can't stop. I understand. All right. Heard it. All right. Hey, this next story is really kind of cool. Get ready to stream 4K content. 4K content from your phone to your TV.
Wow.
Yeah.
Gotta love this.
Yeah.
This really makes your imagination fly. Good old technobuffalo.com, another wonderful site. Story by Todd Hazelton, and the link again is in the show notes. Check it out. It says, get ready to stream 4K content from your smartphone to your TV at insane speeds. Not only just the resolution, but insane speeds. I love it. Qualcomm, the largest supplier of smartphone processors in the United States, recently acquired a company called Wilocity, that's W-I-L-O-C-I-T-Y, that developed the certified WiGig standard. Now, Craig, I'm not that familiar with the WiGig standard. Have you heard of this before? Are you familiar with what that's all about?
Yeah, it's gigabit Wi-Fi, which is...
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Wow. Well, I could ask you a whole bunch of technical questions there, but I'll hold off.
Yeah,
In its announcement, Qualcomm said that Wilocity is the leader in 60 gigahertz wireless chipsets that use the 802.11ad standard, aka WiGig, which allows the transfer of 4K video content between devices. Now it says the first tri-band platform that will take advantage of WiGig is the company's Snapdragon 810 chip, which Qualcomm said will enable 4K video streaming, peer-to-peer content sharing, networking, wireless locking, and backing up entire media libraries in seconds. Ooh.
fast.
Goes on to say, while 802.11ac enables gigabit Wi-Fi networks to offload mobile traffic, 60 gigahertz technology brings multi-gigabit speeds, significant capacity improvements, and power efficiency that are integral to meeting the challenges posed by next-generation media applications, according to a Qualcomm announcement that was issued. Now, it goes on to say here, neither company announced terms of the deal, and it's unclear right now when Snapdragon 810, the chip, with WiGig technology will start shipping, but, and I couldn't agree more with this final statement, we can't wait. So the tri-band thing, Craig, educate me for a moment. This is the idea, isn't it, where you take the total, let's imagine the total data being like a single bar, but you break it up and you transmit it over 3 different bands or something, and then reassemble it, and for some reason that helps accelerate, or am I totally crazy, or am I somewhat on track?
No, they have the multi-band, and you'll see these bristling antennas coming out, 3, 4.
Yeah, right.
Exactly. Yep. And Netgear has one of their fastest. Their Blackhawk wireless router has like 4 antennas. It looks like it's a stealth fighter.
Wow.
Extreme, but those multiple antennas are not just there for looks. They actually do the job. they're there for a reason. Yep.
But your laptop, let's say, for example, in a home Wi-Fi situation, if you had something like that, your laptop obviously has to have a chipset that's going to be able to deal with that, right? I mean, you can't.
No, yeah, of course you'd have.
Okay.
It has to have that. Your devices have to be able to support those new standards. Not all of them do that yet.
Right.
We're still in draft mode, let alone the final. Although a lot, routers can be updated really easy. It's the computer. Well, that takes a little bit more because
right,
built into the motherboard, it's a little more difficult.
Sure, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
So anyway, did we finish the story?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
I think it's cool. Like it says there, we can't wait.
I can't wait either. All right. So we're continuing on here on the Computer America Show. Ralph Bond. Story 6. Hands-on with the self-charging Surya rugged
Solra, maybe? I'm not sure. Solra.
Rugged ruckus Bluetooth speaker. Okay.
Yeah. I think the Solra is a play on solar, maybe. I don't know. Since it's a self-charging unit here. So this comes also from PocketLint.com, a story by Britta O'Boyle, and the link is in there, pictures in there, so you can see what we're talking about. It says, Solra announced the rugged Ruckus Bluetooth speaker earlier this month, so earlier in this month of July. But it isn't just any old Bluetooth speaker. This one charges itself with a solar panel located on the top of the speaker. Mm-hmm. And she says, we managed to get our hands on a black version of the speaker, which is also available in green, to see what we made of it and whether it sacrifices good looks for its clever self-charging capabilities. The rugged Ruckus offers a slanted design, slimming down as you get to the rear of the device, which is where the USB port and auxiliary port sit behind rubber flaps.
Okay.
The flaps mean everything is tucked away neatly, making the design from the rear seamless, but that means you have to lift them up, the flaps that is, if you want to connect your phone to the speaker's power.
Mm-hmm.
And there's another photo here that shows you that end of the device they're talking about. It says it's 163 by 163 by 151 by 46 millimeters. Built, has good looks, not too big, not too small, plus it's 530 grams or 2.69 pounds. Weight feels light enough to ferry around or to carry around in your purse or your backpack or what have you. The branding is quite prominent on the speaker grill at the front, so that's maybe a turnoff for some people, she's saying. On the top of the speaker, aside from the solar panel that takes up the entire surface of the top, there are several buttons for controlling the device. And I'm going to scroll down here and get to the meat of the story here. The battery is said to offer 8 hours of playback on a full charge if there is no sun, which we couldn't test. We also didn't have a chance to test the sound quality from the 2 full-range speakers inside the rugged Ruckus. I can't understand why that couldn't have.
Wait. I want to understand the no sun part. I mean, just put it in the closet. You know?
Well, yeah, yeah. That part. Well, the other part that's comical to me is, and I would never admit this if I were a product reviewer, is they didn't even plug it in to hear what the sound's like. Come on, guys. The concept's kind of cool, though. Basically, they're saying if you charge it up, put it out in the sun, put it in light, whatever, get it charged up. The makers of the device say it can run for 8 hours. And then you need to recharge it, of course. But you're so right, Craig. That's almost kind of funny if you think about it. But here's the pricing. Of course, they give it in pounds sterling, 90 pounds, which is about $155 US. So it's a specialty item. Not so sure it would be something that I would spend $155 for, but it's just interesting to think about people always trying to find some ways to put solar charging into our accessories.
Yeah, well, exactly. It looks interesting, and again, you can see it at it's on our show notes page. You can see it, just the cheat notes. And you can see all these for yourself, and they got the links there if you're interested in that, including the person holding it who has green fingernail paint on her.
With kind of a stripe too. I don't know whether the stripe is a split nail or is it a decorative artistic thing. I don't know.
Just making an observation. Oh my gosh! All right. Well, look. Obviously, wearable devices are trying to get started. They got some ones that I don't really like at all. The Pebble's been out. They've got all these different things. Samsung's got their wearable items, and still not thrilled with that.
Right.
Motorola is coming out with their 360 device, which watch. An actual watch, and I think that's a picture of it in I'm looking at here. But that's actually kind of a cool thing, is it actually looks like a watch. But evidently,
cool.
yeah, something called View Ranger is one of the first apps to highlight that there's a point to Android Wear after all.
Yeah, this caught my eye. Again, from that British outlet, pocketlit.com, story by Elise Betters. And you can see the picture in the show notes here of a fellow wearing a kind of wristwatch. I think this is kind of a fabricated image. I think it's sort of a fake-out image of some sorts, but the concept's kind of interesting. Story says, developers are beginning to announce useful and handy apps for wearables now that Android Wear watches are starting to hit the market. And the View Ranger, so that's the word View and Ranger run together as one word, View Ranger mapping and navigation app stands out from most of them. Google's new section on the Google Play Store for Android Wear only offers a collection of about 20 apps today.
Mm-hmm.
There's an app that lets you view Pinterest on your wrist, and another app that lets you access your PayPal account. So far, I'm snoozing. While the sounds are fine, while that sounds fine and dandy, many of these apps don't offer functionality truly useful outside of your Android device. But View Ranger is one of the exceptions. It is one of the first apps to be Android Wear enabled. View Ranger puts active navigation on your wrist. Now, you've got my attention. This sounds interesting. It works with any existing Android Wear device, enabling you to get information about where you are and where you are for navigation, such as your current coordinates, altitude, heading, as well as distance to the next waypoint, point of interest, or to the end of your route. You can even use View Ranger to review information about your trip, such as the duration, distance traveled, and height gained and lost. Now, I don't think they're not talking about. I start off my walk and I'm 5'10", and when I end I'm 6 point. No, they're talking about your elevation and so forth as you're going along. I just want to make that clear because it is Friday night.
Altitude.
Not attitude, altitude. Anyway. But instead of looking at this information through static notifications, you will see integrated graphical elements like a large navigation arrow on your, watch band, right? Watch face. That's partly because Google allows app developers to customize the look and feel of their notifications in the context stream. Now, I'll jump down a little bit here toward the end here. Apart from Android Wear functionality, View Ranger is a notable GPS app for mobile devices. So this app has a history. You need to go out to their website and check it out. It's kind of interesting. It is used by active travelers and search and rescue teams, including mountain rescue, lowland search, Coast Guard, and search dog teams. So again, View Ranger has a history, and they're just making additional developments and enhancements to take advantage of the Android wearable generation of products. So View Ranger is also available for Kindle and, drumroll, iOS devices. It's free. You can get this app for free, the basic app, but maps and different things like that, there's a price shopping list to buy specialized maps. But it's a very cool concept. I think it's a step in the right direction. I would certainly like to have on my wrist. They show fellow holding his, on a bicycle, riding his bike and having that directional stuff on his wrist could be very, very helpful. So it's a step in the right direction and kind of fun technology.
Yeah, it's got an arrow. It's easy to see and follow it. Yeah, exactly. Okay, all right. This next story is interesting. Now, I have read about electric cars.
Yeah.
That are so quiet.
Mm-hmm.
That the manufacturers offer a feature that they actually play a recording of an engine noise so people can hear you coming.
Yes, you're right, Craig. Absolutely correct. I don't recall which cars do that, what brand or whatever, but you're right. I remember when electric cars started again to be popular.
Yeah.
That they talked about the danger because pedestrians couldn't hear, didn't know they were even around.
Right.
And it was stealth, unintended stealth technology.
And they didn't see them coming, and you can have a problem with that. So they actually have external speakers in the car, and they have, and when you're in a let's say a residential neighborhood or something like that, Either you hit a switch or something, or I'm not sure exactly what it is you do, and you actually hear an engine noise, engine sound, and it goes in timing with how fast you're revving the car. So if it's fast, you actually hear it, and pedestrians will hear it. That's the most important thing. They'll hear you coming.
Exactly. So this story is kind of cool because it's about the title of this story, again from PocketLint.com in the United Kingdom. Luke Edwards again. This is what a Formula E race car sounds like. The future. So it's all about these electric, super cool-looking Formula E cars. The picture is great. You got to see the picture, everybody. Get the show notes.
Gorgeous, yeah.
And basically, since I know we're kind of coming up on the time here, I'll try to see if we can get through this story before our break. If you go, friends, get the show notes. Get that link to the video, the YouTube video. Watch that video. More important, listen to it. The author tries to explain what the sound is like. I'll tell you what it sounds like. How many of you out there, oldsters, had electric slot cars as a kid?
Yeah.
I did. Right? We used to have these big places, big stores where you go, huge slot car tracks, and we bring our cars, and that's what they sound like. Just sound like great big slot cars is what they sound like to me. It's a really weird sound.
I'm playing the first.
Yeah. Yeah, you can hear it on the YouTube video. It's freaky kind of sound. Anyway, it says the future of Formula One is about to arrive with the electric racing cars of Formula E. Now the cars have been given a test outing ahead of their first race set in September, so there's going to be a big race. The Formula E electric race will first take place on the streets of Beijing this September. At last, something that's not going to add more pollution to the air of Beijing. How about that? Ahead of the race, the cars are being tested in the United Kingdom at Donington Park Circuit, at their race facility there. Now, unlike Formula One cars, these electric vehicles will be near silent by comparison. Although there is that futuristic electric whine. Well, electric whine is like a slot car that makes it sound like something from sci-fi. No, it sounds like a slot car. That's what it sounds like. The electric drive motors also mean there's a lot more direct torque. So these cars should be even faster off the line than their gasoline counterparts, right? That's kind of interesting. And if you want to, if you happen to be in the United Kingdom, July 4th is gone, July 9th is gone, and July 10 was yesterday, but July 19, if you're there, you can go and see these things in action, and again, go check out that video. It's very, very compelling.
Yeah, and again, I mean, I was playing a little bit of it. I mean, it's got it's got this really unusual, as you say, like a whining kind of sound, and
it's weird.
Yeah, let me take a moment and I'll play that again because it's just here I'm gonna play it. Let's start by you'll hear what it sounds like. Here it goes. Here the game ready to go. That's what they sound like.
Well, and you know this as an engineer, the torque on an electric motor is just instantaneous.
Yeah,
I mean,
right. Yeah, exactly.
It would just throw your head back onto the seat rest like crazy. I mean, they just boom, take off. There's no resistance basically, right? Except the rubber to the road.
Yeah,
boom.
Exactly. It's I guess the axle is really the what do they call it? Oh, I'm blocking the name, but it acts like the
like the governor, the restrainer.
No, it's the I'll think of the name. Anyway, it's the part that spins in an electric motor, and it's like that's like the axle, and it's actually.
Oh, right, yeah. Where the coil and then the rod and.
Yeah, exactly, and I don't know why I'm blocking the name of it, but I'll think anyway. The point is that you can see the video. It's really cool, and
cool looking cars too. These are really cool looking.
Very futuristic, very beautiful cars. So you check them out. Okay. All right. Well, we're at the top of the hour. We're going to take a break, and then we're gonna, just moments, and then we'll come back. We're going to be talking about the next Microsoft Nokia Lumina could have Canon cameras optics superior to the Luma 1020. One of the stories we're going to be talking about. And scientists also create a more efficient artificial photosynthesis, which is interesting. And also, we're going to do an Android Wear review, taking smartwatches in the right direction. Some of the stories coming up. Also, We're going to do a mini lock browser plugin promises easy encryption with drag and drop security. Just some of the stories we're going to be doing. You're listening to the Computer America Show on the Blog Talk Radio Network, on the Boost Radio Network, on the IRN Radio Network. We will be back with more stories right after this. You're listening to Computer America.
Broadcasting live. It's the only national radio talk show on computers to air every weeknight. Computer America. Hosted by national columnist Craig Crossman. The first hour's behind us, but there's still more of tech news, tech talk, and your phone calls. We're being beamed nationwide at ComputerAmerica.com. You got computer problems? Bring them on. You're listening to Computer America. Computers run the world, and we run computers. Call us or send us an email to live@computeramerica.com.
Hello and welcome into Hour 2 of the nation's longest running, nationally syndicated radio talk show on computers. This is the Computer America Show, and I'm your host, Craig Crossman. My co-host, Ben, is off for the evening. We'll be back with us on Monday. In the meantime, Ralph Bond continues on with us. We're doing stories that he finds on the internet, and you can watch them and read them and kind of follow along with us on our show notes page at computeramerican.com. Just click the cheat notes link, and you can follow along for yourself. Just before we get back to Ralph, I just wanted to tell a little bit people about we have a limited special offer that's going on right now at Computer America from our friends over at ProXPN. Ralph, if you go to the Computer America homepage, I want you to go to the Computer America homepage. All right?
Do it.
Right. And you'll see that it says click here for. Oh, but have you seen what happens when we go there? Have you seen what happens? Tell me if you watch it. Something new from Wix that we added on the animations.
Okay, I'm getting there. It's coming up here.
Okay.
On my number 6 computer screen in my great array.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Yeah.
Woo, look at that.
Propeller mode. Okay.
Charles and Ben kind of fly in, and yeah, that's cool.
From Wix that they're added, you can animate different elements, and we're kind of being playful.
Nice.
But anyway, if you see below the logo on the left, it says click here for a limited special offer from ProXPN.
Right.
ProXPN. Whenever you go online these days, you and your computer are probably in danger with the risk of your privacy being compromised, especially when you use a open Wi-Fi connection, like say at a Starbucks or a favorite bookstore. But even when you're home, internet service providers can monitor where you go and what you do. And if you do something that exceeds their guidelines, something that they say, oh no, you're not supposed to do that, they can block whatever it is that you may be doing.
Wow.
Yeah. And also, looking at content from other countries is susceptible to being restricted too. But with ProXPN, you don't have to worry about any of that. I mean, ProXPN is an open VPN solution hosted not only here in the U.S., but globally, like in places like Amsterdam and London and Singapore. So when you're online, you actually appear as though you're located in those cities. They don't know where you are.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So now ProXPN is 100% secure. I use it. The Computer America staff uses it. The encryption key ProXPN uses is impressive and very strong. It's 2048 bits. The encryption tunnel is 512 bits. That means ProXPN protects you online and it protects your privacy. This is the way the internet was intended to be. I use it on my Mac as well as my gold iPhone 5S. Charles Tindall has it on his Android phone. The ProXPN app for Android phones actually adds OpenVPN to Android, which it doesn't have. So you don't have to use point-to-point tunneling protocol. Of course, ProXPN will let you use PPTP if you like, because ProXPN supports that as well. Look, we want you to use ProXPN. We all use it, and we want you to try it for yourself. So whenever you and wherever you go online, your privacy is protected. If you use a desktop, ProXPN has Mac and Windows versions that gives you advanced controls to select ports. You can connect at startup. And here's something very cool. You can select which programs should be shut down in case your VPN connection goes down and your anonymity has been compromised.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, you can actually set it. So if you're browsing something and all of a sudden your VPN goes down for whatever reason, it shuts down. Your browser shuts down immediately. So
Wow.
so here's the deal. You can download ProXPN for free and use it, but actually the premium version is so much faster and so much better. Normally it's just $10 a month or $75 a year, but if you enter in the code COMPAM, COMPAM, you'll get an additional 20% off membership. And once you do, that's good forever, not just the one time. So you're locked in. So that's less than $5 a month when you go for the yearly plan. Look,
Nice.
yeah, look, you need this. If you ever go online and if you listen to the show, you know you need this. This is the best VPN we've tried. And again, proxpn.com, use the promo code COMPAM just once for 20% off your membership. Go to computeramerica.com. It's right there on the special page, and you just click the ProXPN logo or anywhere on the page, the special offer page. It'll take you to the website, the special website that they have set up for us. It's ProXPN forever. Check it out. You'll really be happy that you did. Okay.
Oh, sounds great, Craig. And again, as you said before, you can try it out. You can get the free download and see how it feels. But I couldn't agree with you more. This is so important. I'll tell you, for Autodesk, one of the things I do is I monitor our coverage. And nowadays, of course, companies like Autodesk, and this is not unique in any way, shape, or form, but I'm out there. I'm looking at websites in Africa, websites in China, websites all throughout Asia, all throughout Europe, Middle Europe, all over the place, not just here in the United States. And you make a good point. There's things that you're always exposed out there. Now we have VPN for all of us at Autodesk, and I'm a home worker. I work for my home office, but nonetheless I have a VPN. But all this additional capability of protection just sounds really good. And boy, what a price! I mean, that's an amazing price. And I also like the part, I'm reading your call out here that you directed me to, that 20% off your membership forever.
That's right. It's just not the one time.
That's pretty cool.
Yep, you're locked in. You get it forever. So whatever.
Wow.
Yep. So it's a special arrangement we have with them, and hopefully our listeners are taking advantage of it because it's not going to be up much longer. So check it out, ProXPN.
Very cool.
And thank you for agreeing with me on that too.
Oh no, this is something that, believe me, companies like Autodesk and anybody that works in a corporate situation, Charles, of course, is right on top of all of this. Exactly. This is no joke. Don't think that, oh my gosh, Starbucks, all that kind of stuff. You're so right. You're in these environments. You are so vulnerable. Ugh, protect yourself, please.
Exactly. You need this. Great. And again, you can put it on your Android phone, your iPhone, whatever. It all works.
That's terrific.
All right, so let's go to story 9. The next Microsoft Nokia Lumina could have Canon camera optics superior to the Lumina 1020. This looks cool.
Yeah, this is very cool. Yet another story from PocketLint.com in the UK. Luke Edwards is the author here. And it says Microsoft has signed a deal with Canon that cross-licenses a lot of their patents. That's significant, folks. Of course, duh. Microsoft is trying everything it possibly can to be a player in the smartphone field, which is a big challenge for them, right? But I think this is a smart move on their part. So it says here, this could mean future Microsoft Nokia Lumina handsets have the smart processing and optic power of Canon crammed into them. Now, the Nokia Lumina 2010 with its 41 megapixel camera was, and probably still is, the best camera phone ever made. The unique way it pushed technology forward makes it still attractive even now when all the other phones from its generation are dated. Now, this patent-sharing deal between Microsoft and Canon could mean a future Lumina that uses Canon's impressive digic processing power and more. So again, that we could see this digic processing power from Canon embedded into future Luminas is what they're saying. There's also a chance that Microsoft may decide to follow in the footsteps of Sony and add removable lenses to its mobiles. Yes, that would be so great. You and I reviewed and looked at these attachment products for iPhones, and that's all well and good, but I think this is a really important thing to make the phone, or the cameras on our smartphones even more cool by having removable lenses. So it goes on to say, imagine a full removable Canon lens strapped to your mobile that has a Canon processing capability built in. Very important. The other outcome is that Canon uses Microsoft's patents to change its user interface, perhaps integrating some from the Windows Phone into its cameras. So it's, going both ways here, this cross-patenting thing, right? Either way, it's great to see companies sharing patents to help push technological developments forward rather than fighting over them, that is the patents, and slowing progress down for everyone. Amen. So I thought this was a really interesting business and technology development and again, evidence of Microsoft's determination to try to be a serious player in the smartphone market.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, let's face it. I mean, cameras today in most smartphones, like these,
fabulous.
They're just. I don't carry a camera anymore. I really don't.
Neither do I.
I have the camera in my iPhone 5S. I thought it was good in the 5 and the 4S, but the 5S, the camera they improved that's a dual flash and it's just the glorious. Really, I mean.
Oh yeah.
I couldn't. When we went on our last vacation, I didn't take a camera. I just had my iPhone with me and took pictures. That was the iPhone, and that was the iPhone 4S. That wasn't even the 5. And now, of course, I have the 5S, and it's just
right.
Even just superior. And of course, you take great indoor pictures with the flash and outdoor as well. Yep.
Well, Craig, to your point, right on target. We talked about our family going on this trip to Ireland. First part of my sabbatical coming up next month.
Bring the camera.
And we had this big discussion because in the old days, Daddy-O here would be lugging around the SLR body type Canon camera, and I love that camera. There's nothing wrong with it. I love that camera. Trust me. Had it for years. Great camera. But it's bulky, and it's this, and it's another thing to wear around, and we've had such great luck with the photos we've been taking on our respective iPhones that we looked at each other and said, you know what? We're going to go on this trip and just use our iPhones, transfer the images over, back them up in the cloud, all this groovy stuff, and not have to fuss and muss.
That's right. You can send them off to the cloud and take as many pictures as you want, and
right.
I mean, because I have feature. Now, do you have the 5 or the 5S? Which one do you have?
I have the 5S.
Okay. Well, you have the panorama version. You know, you can take pictures left to right. I love that feature. You can left to right or right to left, either way. And the videos that you can take. I mean, which you can't do with your camera. You can't take videos with your. I mean, it's just you have it all. You have everything. You can take the stills. You can take the videos. You have the unlimited storage because you can upload it to the cloud, offload it to a computer. I mean, it's rather than lugging around another piece of hardware that you know, when you're away for so long, it's one less thing you have to worry about.
Well, and the other thing too, this is self-evident, profound no dust statement of the evening. I always have that thing either in my pocket, my smartphone that is, or in my holster. It's immediately accessible for taking an on-the-fly picture. Whereas when I used to travel on vacation, to go, wait a minute, I gotta take the lens cap off. I gotta finally take a picture.
Old school.
And the moment's gone.
Old school.
That is old school. Yeah.
It's so much better. And now, out of curiosity, I assume your iPhone and everything will work fine in Ireland too. All right, it works overseas. So you can.
Well, I don't know about making phone calls and so forth. We're, one of us is going to probably have some kind of temporary international plan or something just for family emergencies or what have you.
They have that. I mean, you can do that. I don't know who your carrier is. AT&T or who's your carrier?
AT&T, yeah, AT&T.
You can do that. There's a thing on the iPhone which you can turn on for international calling, and then you can do just like for the month, or even less. You can do an international plan. So while you're away, so you don't get charged every month for it. Just they'll do that for the month or for 2 weeks, whatever you want to do it.
Right.
And then it's off, and then it's over, and then you just turn it off when you get back home.
Yeah, I think it's a great topic because here we are, summertime, people are traveling, and this is an issue maybe for people going out of the United States. You're right, because we want at least one of us to have a phone that is fully functional in case there's a family emergency or something like that, right? So there you go.
That's what you should do, just have them turn it on for the time that you're away, and then when you get back, you just call them up and cancel it, and that's the end of it.
Right.
Have that connectivity. Okay, story 10. Science create most efficient artificial photosynthesis yet. This goes to what? Making of solar cells? What is this about?
Yeah, this was the headline caught my attention from Engadget.com, a story by Steve Dent, and it says many scientists now think that slowing down global warming isn't enough anymore, and that we now need to clear some of the CO2 already in the air. Well, I thought this was fascinating. Listen to this. Existing solutions like carbon sequestration aren't ideal, and strategies like, get this, vacuuming the sky are still a UN, United Nations, pipe dream. However, scientists at Princeton have come up with an artificial photosynthesis system that could one day turn CO2 into useful things. The idea is to create an electrolysis cell that transforms water and waste CO2 into formic, I think that's how you pronounce it, F-O-R-M-I-C, formic acid, used in airplane de-icing salts and experimental fuel cells. To do that,
ants also generate formic acid. I don't know if you know that.
Oh, seriously, I knew I remembered seeing formic acid somewhere, and you've solved the mystery. Yeah, that's right. Goes on to say, to do that, they use commercial solar panels for energy, carefully matched the current to the cell and stacked the cells, resulting in a system with 2% efficiency. Now, off the top, you think 2% efficiency, what? That may not sound like much, but it easily trumps the previous artificial photosynthesis champ from Panasonic, and it's twice, here's the kicker, and that rate of 2% efficiency is twice as efficient as actual plants?
Wow.
What? A practical application is still a ways off, though. So, in the meantime, maybe just go out and plant a tree. But I just, how I just love finding these kind of out there on the edge things of technology. They may not relate directly to computers and internet, but it's just sort of fun to find out about this stuff and just let your mind run wild and think about where could this go. Again, the gist of the story is our global warming, the CO2 thing, is so daunting a problem. Vacuuming the air, which is kind of an interesting thing. Other technologies, well, why not jack up photosynthesis? If we can accelerate it somehow, augment what our plants are doing for us, and the horrors of eliminating the rainforest in South America and all that. If we can figure out some way to counterbalance this with technology, well, it'll help. So something to think about.
Yeah, exactly. All right, well, let's continue on. And go back to wearable devices. This is interesting. We're going to do an Android Wear review, taking smartwatches in the right direction. We did one, the first one with the bicycle rider, but these look kind of cool too.
Yeah, exactly. This is a story from Engadget, a story by Brad Mullen. The headline is Android Wear Review, taking smartwatches in the right direction, as you mentioned there, Craig. And if you have the show notes, you can see a photograph here of one of the prototypes, and it's a pretty attractive for this category of watch, and it's kind of a fun little story because the author says, when I was a tiny tot, I watched Knight Rider and pretended I was Michael Knight talking to Kit on my watch. Kit, of course, being the car computer, right? Yet now there are real-life watches that can do even more things. I don't find myself quite as excited as my 5-year-old self was. Smartwatches, and this was a good remember. See if you remember this. Smartwatches have been around for more than a decade already. Remember the Microsoft Spot? I do. I had one.
Yeah, very clearly. Yes.
Yeah. Remember that, and you could get terrible display, of course, but you could get Outlook, calendar stuff, and a few things you could do.
Yeah, it was rudimentary.
So he says, remember the Microsoft Spot again, both of us do, but the category hasn't evolved at the same pace as smartphones. Amen. It's not because there's a shortage of digital wrist-worn timepieces, certainly not. The problem is that there's no common platform for third-party apps, which means there's little potential for growth. Amen. We must end the era of idiosyncratic, siloed, one-off wrist computing technology solutions. Is not acceptable. It's not going to work. We need a common platform, as this article, I think, so correctly points out. There also doesn't seem to be any vision. He criticizes the current situation. Some watches act as Android phones with SIM cards and tiny touchscreens, while others try to establish their own platform to entice developers. Still others have even tried to put fitness bands and fitness bands and smart watches into one device to a limited success so far. Amen, brother.
Mhm.
Even worse, most of the watches on the market today are what you might call fashionably challenged.
Yeah.
They simply aren't attractive enough to entice the masses, especially for women, right? Google's solution is to extend its Android's platform, Hurrah, which has very strong market share and developer support, to the wearables genre with Android Wear. Amen. So that's what we should all be looking at, is this movement within Google for Android Wear. This may give us this common platform, albeit it's not iOS. I get that, but it's going to make it more democratic and more stable for developers to think, I can invest in this now because there's going to be a future for it. So I thought that was a good trend story.
Yeah, no, exactly. And again, the watches in the picture actually look kind of nice, but still, I think that the Moto 360 is the one that is also Android based, which I like. Well, that's the only one that I like. But again, Apple said they're going to have one in October, and
right, sure, that'll be beautiful.
Yeah, well, if Apple does what they've done in the past, it should be something, and I'm going to wait and see.
Oh yeah. Hey Craig, speaking of Apple, just for a second here, about maybe less than a month ago, I think it was, Apple opened a brand new showcase store in Portland, Oregon. Again, I live outside of Portland, and oh my Lord, you should Google this right now. Portland, Oregon Apple Store. Google that. Look at the pictures. It is drop dead gorgeous. It's at the base of an older building, and it's this very high ceiling, huge high ceiling ground street level store, and on three sides of it is massive sheets of glass with hardly any perceptible structural members. So you walk in, it's like you're walking into an aquarium, of complete surround light and so forth. And in our climate here in Oregon, where it is dark and cloudy for a lot of the year, not now, boy, we're having a hell of a summer so far, but nonetheless, it's just a stunning environment. Did you find any pictures of it online there, Craig? It's beautiful.
It's a beautiful. All their stores, quite frankly, are just cutting edge, amazing. But yeah, I'm looking at the one in Portland here.
You ever been to their store in London?
No, I have not.
Oh my, it's just spectacular. And that one's multi-level with huge glass at the front and then multi-layers inside that you see from the street. It's a completely transparent kind of thing. But this store in Portland is just this breathtaking environment. When you walk in, it's just, I can't put it into words. It's just sort of fun to think about.
I have been to one in New York City on 57th Street. That's like a glass cube. That is absolutely amazing. I mean, the stores are just phenomenal. All of those. You know that Apple has patents on the glass staircases that they use. They actually have.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
Actually, they've patented the glass staircases that they use.
Wow.
Radically different. So. Oh wait a minute! I'm looking at these pictures of the one. I think that's you in this picture.
Well, maybe. The old guy standing in the corner with his mouth hanging open, going, "Please buy this for me." Hey, mister, would you buy this for me? No, I keep hoping my son is going to buy a new iMac and give me his old one. I mean, I'd be thrilled.
The waterfall.
Yeah, waterfall that pops. That's the deal.
Exactly. Hey, I waterfall to you when you were younger. Now waterfall to me.
Darn right about that. Oh yeah, well, my kids were too smart for that. Dad, I don't want your old stuff.
Yeah.
I want this news thing over here.
What new thing?
Yeah. What new thing?
All right. So for the gamers out there, Civilization Beyond Earth ships the October 24th with maps based on real planets.
Yeah, this is pretty cool. Story from Engadget, story by John Fingus, and it's all about Sid Meier's Beyond Earth, which will reach Windows-based PCs this October 24th. So it's coming up down the road here, and it's if you're a gamer, this is really interesting. If you're into these kind of civilization game kind of things, it's really fun, and it's a great video. Again, the show notes have a link to a video. I watched this video. It's really it really tells the story, and you need to check that video out. But it says here, if you're eager to play the first Civilization game set in space, not counting Alpha Centauri, you now have a date to mark on your calendar. Sid Meier's Beyond Earth will reach Windows PCs, as I said before, October 24. Now, that's a long time to wait, he points out, although Firaxis, I'm not sure I'm pronouncing that right, Firaxis, Firaxis is sweetening the pot with astronomy-themed bonus content. If you pre-order the space colonization game from certain stores, you'll get a map pack based loosely on real, potentially inhabitable exoplanets like Kepler 186f and Regal I'm butchering this. Regal Cantoris, Rigel Cantaurus. I'm trying. Anyway, check out the show notes. Give it your best guess. But that's the point. Potentially inhabitable planets out there that the scientists are aware of and have been speculating about its possibility. The possibility of these planets supporting life are part of the game. The physics of those planets, what's known of them, is worked into this game, which I think is very cool. Goes on to say, it's hard to say if the extra terrain will be worth plunking down cash in advance, but we suspect that you'll already pulled the trigger if you're a die-hard Civ fan or Civilization fan. This is just icing on the extraterrestrial cake. And again, I have the video link for you. It's a fun video to watch. Check it out.
Okay. All right. Excellent. And now, what I wanted to do is skip over to story 14, if you don't mind.
Okay.
Yeah. This is the Minilock browser plugin. Promises easy encryption with drag-and-drop security. This looks kind of interesting. Tell us about this.
It is interesting. Another story by Steve Dent from Engadget.com. And he says, a coder activist is trying to walk a fine line with his encryption program called Minilock, according to Wired magazine. On one hand, and here's the name of the fella, it's Nadim Kobiesi. I hope I'm pronouncing that correct. It says, on one hand, Nadim Kobiesi has developed a simple drag-and-drop interface for the browser plugin to make it accessible to all. But its public key encryption backbone also needs to satisfy the vocal cryptographic community by being robust enough to handle any attack from experienced hackers like none other the NSA. Judging by skeptical comments on Reddit, the latter aim will be daunting for Nadim, particularly since his last effort, CryptoCat, wasn't well regarded. Nevertheless, Kobiesi will introduce an experimental beta of the new program at HopeX, Hacker Conference. HopeX, don't you love this? Hacker Conference later this month, July 18th through the 20th, by the way, in New York, in order to have it poked and prodded by that community.
By the way, the NSA, of course, is in our chat room. I don't know if you see that. So.
Oh, well, hello.
And NSA.
As for the, they're watching.
He says that's all he says is we are watching you.
We're watching you, buddy. Anyway, yeah, if you want to be bored to tears, just watch me. So it says, as for the interface, Nadim, the maker of this Minilock, told Wired magazine that it's super simple, approachable, and it's almost impossible to be confused by it. Mm-hmm. If he manages to run the gauntlet at the HopeX conference, where people are going to kind of beat this thing up and look at it, Minilock will eventually be released as a free browser plugin so that even your dear old grandma can protect the family brownie recipe. Comical, funny ending there. But it's you know, security. I know you're keenly interested in this. I know Charles is very interested in security. I am too. I've learned so much about it from my own company, Autodesk, and what we're trying to do to protect ourselves and our data. This is kind of an intriguing notion of a browser plugin that could help you in this way. Is interesting.
Yeah, it is. All right. Well, listen, we're almost at the bottom of the hour break. Just so quickly, we're going to have another news tip bulletin by Marty Winston, who's the editor of the News Tips Bulletin. We'll have that. We're going to have 2 new ones on Monday. We always have 2 new news tip bulletins from Marty, and they're really enjoyable. Let's see. Also, we're going to have our show reminder winner of the week. That's coming up next. We're going to announce that when we come back. So somebody's going to be very, very happy about that.
Yay!
Yes, exactly. And we'll have Ralph, do the drawing. So, but anyway, you're listening to the Computer America Show on the Boost Radio Network, on the Blog Talk Radio Network, on the IRN Radio Network. We're on a lot of networks. And check them all out at computeramerica.com. You can see a lot of the places that you can check our cluster maps and see where we're heard. Ralph Bond is my guest. We'll do that show reminder one of the week coming up. This is the Computer America Show. We will be right back.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 120,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy and major car companies filing for bankruptcy, Cover America Auto Care has announced revolutionary, inexpensive mechanical breakdown coverage that is now available to the general public to save consumers thousands on auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for drivers to call who own a vehicle that is less than 10 years old for a free 5-minute quote and to see if you qualify. The number is 800-483-2514. Drivers who are covered with this auto protection will not have to pay for a covered repair again. This is the auto coverage now sweeping across America at a fraction of what dealerships charge and is now available to the public by calling today. The number to call is 800-483-2514. 800-483-2514. That's 800-483-2514.
Don't complain about your cable bill going up and up and up. Do something about it. Grab a pencil and jot down this special number, 1-866-663-MY-TV. The more cable TV rates go up, the better digital satellite TV looks. So, disable the cable and get more of your favorite channels in 100% digital quality for less money. Call 1-866-663-MY-TV right now to sign up for packages starting as low as $19.99 and up to 4 rooms. And there's no equipment to buy. That includes your free HD TV upgrade, your free DVR upgrade, and your free professional installation. And the best part, the pristine digital picture and sound. Call 1-866-663-MY-TV. So, what are you waiting for? Pull out your major credit or debit card. Call 1-866-663-MY-TV. 1-866-663-MY-TV. Disable the cable, cut costs, and get more. Call 1-866-663-MY-TV. 1-866-663-MY-TV.
Greetings. This is Marty Winston for Computer America with a News Tips Bulletin Review of the ASIO Backlit BT tablet keyboard. When we travel, it's sometimes tedious to have to use our tablet's on-screen keyboard to do any kind of text entry. So we like carrying a Bluetooth keyboard. The Bluetooth 3 ASIO backlit tablet keyboard is about 2 inches narrower than others we tested. It puts a blue backlight behind big etched key legends and has a short but crisp travel for good tactile feedback when typing. Its 850 milliamp lithium-ion battery charges through a micro USB port, and it's rated for 10 hours of runtime per charge. It defaults to iOS mode, but we can forgive it because it switches easily to Android or Windows mode. Bottom line, the ASIO backlit Bluetooth 3 tablet keyboard adds compact to capable. This is Marty Winston with a News Tips Bulletin Review for Computer America.
And thanks for that, Marty. I said we'll have 2 new News Tip Bulletins next week. We have 2 of them each week, and he's got some really interesting ones coming up. Not that they're not all interesting, but what can I say? Well, it's bottom of the hour, 33 minutes after 11 o'clock, and here on a Friday night with Ralph Bond, good buddy and correspondent, and I think it's time to do our show reminder winner of the week. All right? So let's get the... Oh, he's got the drums. All right. All right, Ralph, hit it. Look at that. Video and audio. And this week's winner is Mason Bird. Mason Bird, congratulations. You're this show reminder winner. Okay. You win the Logitech wireless rechargeable touchpad T650 valued at $80. Okay. Large, smooth glass surface gives your fingers the freedom to perform up to 13 unique Windows 8 gestures. It resists fingerprints and scratches. It's a beautiful touchpad. And again, it's wireless and valued at $80. So congratulations to Mason Bird. And again, check out all of our contests at ComputerAmerica.com. Just go to our pull-down menu, the first one that says Contest, and you can see our Show Reminder Winner contest with a little spinning airplane Computer America logo, and then we've got our Logitech prizes. By the way, I've been talking to Logitech or contest. This is the last one. We're going to have a refresh. Some of the prizes are going to be refreshed. We're going to have new prizes from Logitech. We're working to bring that to you as well. And but all you have to do is just follow the instructions on any of our contests, and you're in. It's just that easy, just that quick. Again, congratulations to you, Mason Bird, for winning the touchpad, the wireless Logitech wireless rechargeable touchpad T650. Okay, so Ralph, good job on the drums, and you know, we're going to finish it. We have more stories that we're going to probably have a chance to get to. But again, you can see them all. Just go to our show notes page at ComputerAmerica.com. You see the cheat notes link there on today's show, 7/11/2014. They have the link with Ralph Bond is there. You go to his website, which basically says go to my website, and also you can see all the show notes that we have gotten to, and some of the many that we will not get to. Just not enough time. You think 2 hours would be, but nope, not enough time. Okay. Story 15. Now, who wouldn't want this? I mean, it's this. How could you not lust over this portable wooden arcade box? Come on.
Yeah. I mean, you know me. I first of all, I love the old retro games, mainly because Dorcas here can play them. I can deal with the side-by-side scrolling, jumping up and down Mario. That this I can handle. All this other stuff is like all this twitching my kids do with the Xbox, and I'm just going, what? Anyway.
If you watch them, I mean, I watch Ben playing World of Warcraft. I mean, it's really complex. I mean, there are a lot of things going on.
Oh, yes.
I mean, you're talking to people. I mean, these MMO games. I mean, games aren't like, we used to play. I mean, I like software.
I can't handle it. Now, the best games for me on my Xbox 360, and we've talked about this before, pinball.
Yeah.
This I can handle. I have the thing, left, right, flipper.
I have some wonderful pinball simulations on my iPhone, too. The iPhone, they've got a couple of them. They have the Wild West pinball. Have you seen that? It's free. The Wild West.
That sounds cool.
Check it out. I mean, the Wild West pinball, you'll love it, Ralph. It's beautiful, and it's easy to play. But, yeah, I mean, some of these other games, I mean, you can some kids build a career on I mean,
gosh.
They're just really, really complex and sophisticated. But
well, and you raise a good point. One of the things that when I was with Intel Corporation, one of the things we used to go, gosh, I wish I could remember the name of the big event. It was the what was it called? The Cyber Athlete Competition or something. It was always in Texas. You remember? You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
And professional gaming teams that would get together and play. What is it? Medal of Honor, I'm sure I'm saying it wrong or whatever, but those combat games, right? But they were paid. These were professional gaming kids.
Yeah, that's right. They have endorsements. They make millions. Literally, they make a fortune.
Wild, isn't it crazy? Well, anyway, to our story. On to our story. This is from Gizmodo.com. Story by Andrew Lizweski. It's How Could You Not Lust over this portable wooden arcade box? And I'm sure my wife would go, how could you? Period. Anyway, but I think it's kind of cool. And it's a cool picture. Again, the show notes give you the picture, give you the link to see the story. What he says here, hearkening back to a simpler time when electronics, including home video game consoles, came in stylish faux wood finishes. The product is called R-KAID-R. Get it? Arcade R packs a modern emulator into a handmade wooden box that's able to play all of your favorite classic arcade and console games in style. clearly, this is a product for someone who's won the lottery after taxes and still has a lot of money. It's cute, it's quirky, but let's face it. Anyway, it says here, the 800 by 600 LCD display and modern hardware under the hood, the Arcade R won't provide the exact same experience as gaming on an old CRT TV in your parents' basement, or in my man cave. I've got my old Atari 400. But it makes up for it with modern conveniences, like an SD card slot for easy loading of ROMs and an impressive 8-hour rechargeable battery. Nostalgia rarely comes cheap, though, especially in a handmade wooden box of this type, and the Arcade R will unfortunately set you back a hefty, are you ready? Are you ready? $3,400 when it starts shipping this September. $3,400.
And a
plus.
Yeah.
That must be tax. That's the taxes. But you do get your choice of wood for the case, including everything from walnut to emerald green maple. And remember, it's not like you'll be paying for all those ROMs. You'll be playing. So anyway, $3,400. Okay, that's special.
How many games does it come with, or is it built in, or do you have to?
The inference is, I guess you can get the classic games online for free and put them on the SD card. I guess I'm not quite sure what they're alluding to in that regard. But my lord, $3,400 plus. Ugh. I could just see my wife going, "What? What?"
What are you talking about exactly? Oh my God. Okay. All right. Well, now. This next story here is kind of interesting, and it's entitled, "How many gigabytes does it take to make a human?" It's like, how many to screw in a light bulb? How many gigabytes does it take to make it? Interesting. The picture they show is a picture from iRobot with Will Smith.
Yeah, it is curious. Also from Gizmodo.com, a story by Casey Chan, and the story says, "How much information is stored inside a human?" Not as much as you think. Well, you'll find out later in the story that's kind of a double-edged sword here. It says, all you need is a mere 1.5 gigabytes to fit your entire genetic code. And Veritasium, that's an outfit, there's a link here in the stories, did the math in his latest brain-tapping video and cooked up the number using bits to understand that molecules that make up a person's genetic code. I badly read that. Latest brain-tapping video and cooked up the number using bits to understand the molecules that make up a person's genetic code. Now it says, of course, we have a lot of cells in our body. Estimated a human being has around 40 trillion cells in our bodies, and each of those cells contain a full 1.5 gigabytes of our genetic code. So a real person, because this is where the article kind of is misleading at first, a real person has about 60, have you ever heard of this one? Zettabytes? Zettabytes.
Yeah, zettabytes. You go finish it up, and I'll find the where I have it.
Cool. So it says here 60 zettabytes. So think of the number 60 with 21 zeros after it of information total. That's huge, of course. And Veritasium says that in the year 2020, all of the digital information in the world will only tally up to about 40 zettabytes. All the information in the world would tally up to about 40 zettabytes, and a human being is about 60 zettabytes. Wow. So it turns out there's a lot of information necessary to make a person. Now here's the flip side of the coin. But, and this is the fun part, I love this part, but 99.9% of our genetic information is shared with everyone else on Earth. What makes us unique is much, much smaller than even a zettabyte. In fact, it takes less than a megabyte to make a person different from the next. So there it is, a reasonable 1.5 gigabytes of information for our genetic code, and a ridiculous 60 zettabytes flowing in all of our bodies, and an embarrassingly tiny megabyte that makes us believe we're unique snowflakes. I thought that was really comical.
Here's to put it into perspective. You have a kilobyte, which is 1,000 or 1,020.
Yeah.
Right? Then you have a
Or,
megabyte. 1,000 of those is a megabyte. Okay. You take 1,000 megabytes, you get 1 gigabyte. You take 1,000 gigabytes, and you have a terabyte. We're up to terabyte drives now. Okay. That's basically a trillion. Okay. If you take 1,000 terabytes, you'll get a petabyte, PETA, which is which is actually a quadrillion. Now there are I believe it's petabyte drives, but they're huge. I think they're just government has that. Anyway, well, I think they talked about petabytes in Star Trek. That's where I heard petabyte. So
yeah, that does sound familiar.
yeah, petabyte. Anyway, so 1,000 is a petabyte. Now you take 1,000 petabytes, and you get an exabyte, EXA, an exabyte. We're still not there. We're still exabyte. That's a quintillion. Okay. And you take 1,000 exabytes, and you get a zettabyte, which is a sextillion, or 1,000 trillion. Okay. But then there's one more after zeta. You can take 1,000 zettabytes, and there's one more. You get a yottabyte. Y-O-T-T. A
Yada yada yada.
yottabyte, which is a septillion. Okay.
What?
or quadrillion. So that's it. I mean, and then I have the small scale. It goes the other way. But the point is so I don't think we're ever. I think if you and I live to see petabyte drives in the home, that's going to be amazing. Because we met with the megabytes, and then went to gigabytes, and now we're seeing terabyte drives. Well, the next one is going to be the petabyte drive, and I think that's it. I don't think we're never going to see an exa or zeta or yottabytes, and that's just too big. But anyway, that's the scale.
It just flamed up in me a memory of how excited I was the day I got a 1 gigabyte, friends, 1 gigabyte hard drive.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Many years ago. I paid like $400 for this thing, but it was a gigabyte. How will I ever possibly fill that up?
Enough, yeah, exactly. And I remember. I go back I remember my the Apple Profile was a 5 megabyte drive. 5 megabytes. Yeah, that was amazing. And then I got from my Apple II. I finally got. It wasn't from Apple. It was a third-party drive, but it was a 20 megabyte drive that fit into the power supply. It was a power supply, and that was Now for those days for an Apple II, you didn't have the graphics for it, so everything was pretty much text. So you could store one heck of a lot of stuff in it, but it was 20 megabytes. And it was all the stuff.
Oh yeah.
I mean, consider that the floppy disk were 360K, and that was a floppy disk drive. So the hard drive was a godsend.
Oh gosh, yes.
Yeah, I mean, but you're right. I mean, finally, I remember. So then, when you went to the megabyte, and then they went to the next one up, which was the gigabyte, 1,000.
Right.
And I remember the 1 gigabyte drives came out. Oh my gosh! And now, now we're in terabyte drives. We now 1, 2.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
4 terabyte. I got a 4 terabyte drive sitting on my just sitting here by itself from Seagate, sitting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And some of them are under $100. It's amazing.
Oh gosh, I know. It's insane. It's just great. Hey, you know what? The topic of hard drives brings up something where I want to bring in my family, personal, technical problem of the moment, if I may.
Yes.
Run it by you and our listeners and folks in the chat room. See if you can help Goofball here with my problem. All right, here's the scenario. I have about a 5.5, almost 6-year-old laptop. It's right over behind here. I use it just for my personal email, my non-Autodesk work stuff. It's just sort of a general purpose little guy. He just sits over there. And what's happening about the last, say, 3, almost a month maybe, come in the morning, turn it on. Sometimes it just dutifully boots right up, happy as a clam. Other times it goes through the BIOS, and then it's going, well, I'm waiting for the hard drive. I have to turn it off, turn it on again. Turn it off, turn it on. Sometimes 4, 5, 6 times in a row before it'll finally boot up.
I'll tell you what
do its thing.
I'll tell you
so what do you think? What do you think the problem is?
Your hard drive's failing. That's it.
Okay, that's what I thought might be the case.
Yeah,
because it's intermittent and it's temperamental.
Back it up.
Yeah, I did. I did back it up.
Back it up and basically and put it in the drawer, and don't rely on it anymore. It's nice. Sometimes they make little noises, something make little clicks, but sometimes you don't even hear that anymore. But if that's happening, your hard drive's dying. You need to get a new hard drive.
So my next question, thanks, Craig, and I kind of thought that was very likely to be the case.
Mm-hmm.
So the next question is what I'd like to do, and I know you can do it. I know there's Ghost, some of these programs where when it's happy and it's running, I would love to just ghost it over to a new drive.
Mm-hmm.
So that I don't have to reinstall all my OS and my programs and drivers.
It's called cloning. You can clone the drive, and there are many utilities out there. Do you have a PC or a Mac?
I have this is a Windows PC we're talking about, a Windows 7 in this case.
Okay. Because in the Mac they have something called Super Duper, and it's wonderful. It makes a clone of the hard drive, and it makes an exact duplicate.
Wow.
I'm just trying to think off the top of my head the name of the.
I was going to ask you if you had a recommendation. I don't mind spending a little money for a cloner, or if there's a free clone app that would do the job on Windows. Wonderful. And if anybody out in the, I'm looking in the conversation room, chat room right now to see. Yeah, my laptop is 6 years old and someone's laughing. Yeah, I know. I just use it for email, folks. Relax. Back off.
There is one called Drive Image XML, which is good.
Drive Image XML. Okay, I'm going to write that down.
I would say that's one of the better ones out there. I would try that, but basically, and it's free, by the way. You can do that. It's a cloning tool.
Craig, how does that work? So I could take the new drive. I have one of these external connectors that's USB and so forth, allows me just to connect into a bare drive. Exactly. And so I could just set it up and run the utility and say, take everything from this guy.
Well, take the drive. If is an internal, and then we'll hook up the drive. Both drives are running, and then and then it'll see the drive A or drive C or whatever. You just take this drive to this drive. That's it. Just and let the program do its thing. And then when you're done,
it will format the brand new drive I go and buy, and it just makes everything happy.
It makes a clone. Exactly.
Brilliant. That's what I want to do because I just don't want to go through the hoobah of reinstalling my programs and all that junk.
No, everything from top to bottom will be cloned over. Are you going to clone? Are you going to clone your main C drive, or are you cloning a data drive of some sort?
No, it's the main C drive, Craig. It's the one with the OS, the apps, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, use that. It'll make a exact clone of it. Then you can literally take that clone drive and and pop it in and just boot from it. You'll be fine.
Brilliant. Thanks, buddy. You know what? One tip I learned as a user is I had a great little PC desktop or tower desktop PC in my entertainment room next over here, my man cave, and one day I could hear the hard drive going, but it wasn't doing anything, and I thought, the battery on the motherboard, ding. Went to the local little Target type store, got a little tiny watch, but one of those batteries, right? Popped it in, boom, everything's happy, and a lot of users. I'm sure you know this, but a lot of people don't know the motherboard has a battery, and those go out.
Why I'm laughing because this just happened to Ben. His battery was dead, and his computer wouldn't even boot up. And he said, I said, you checked the battery. He said, that's for the clock. I said, no. I said, a lot of the BIOS now relies on the battery. You have to put it because I checked his battery; it was stone cold dead. I put a new battery in. Booted right up. We talked about this a couple of days ago, so it must have been a Zen experience there or channeling Ben because this is exactly what happened to him. By the way, I got a reminder in the chat room. Another excellent one is Acronis. Okay, Acronis makes
I'll look for that too.
Now Acronis you pay for. That's one that you pay for, but Acronis is outstanding. It's one of the best.
Well, like I say, I don't mind paying because it's bound to be something that I'm going to need again in the future. So I'm going to write that down.
And you know what? If you go to Acronis.com and you go and you buy it, the other thing you get is technical support, which you don't get with the other one.
Oh, okay. Great. I'll check that out too.
Yeah. So if you're spending a few bucks, get the Acronis because it's and use it just for general backup too. It's a wonderful piece of software, and it's
yeah. And I think one thing that's really interesting is I don't think a lot of general purpose computer users know about the battery on their motherboard, and that applies to your laptops too, friends.
Yeah.
And the symptoms of a hard drive that's starting to get a little shaky, right?
Yeah.
And one of the things that actually, guys, one of the things I was thinking about was replacing it with an SD, a solid-state drive, a small capacity one, because again, this is just a supplemental machine. But get away from that spinning media business, right? That could be kind of cool.
Fort in the chat room says Ben's batteries have been dead for years. Come on.
See, Ben's not here, and you're taking advantage.
Yeah. and he's right, though. The battery was a CR 2032. That's the battery. The little battery.
Common battery, $3 item, you know, Target or whatever.
I had a few in the drawer, you know, and I tested it, and it was fully charged.
There you go.
As a shelf life. Pop that sucker in, and his computer booted. That was it.
Isn't that something? So true. So true.
And he finally admitted it on the first. He wouldn't. He said no, it's something else. He wouldn't. And finally, you know, because I printed out an extra from Tom's Hardware, which is another good resource.
Yes.
Where it actually talked about that and said, yep, it says your memory, your BIOS, because I told him it was his BIOS. It was dying, and it was the battery, and it said exactly what I said. So I think maybe he'll listen to me a little bit more now. You know?
Well, and you make a great point again. I want to stress what you said a moment ago for everybody to share with their friends too. That battery again is not just for your clock. It's an integral part of being able for the BIOS to do its thing, right, and to come up. So good tip.
It used to be just for the clock many years ago, but now the BIOS requires it, and
right.
That's dead. Your computer's going to do all kinds of strange things, like it'll try to boot and then it'll stop, and it'll try to boot and it'll stop, you know, because all that information is gone. You know, and as soon as you put a new battery in,
bingo,
you're back. Yeah, exactly. All right.
Hey, you want to do story 18? We might have time.
Okay, go for it.
Yeah, story 18, Q*bert. How many people remember Q*bert, the goofy game with a little character that would hop around the kind of staircase cube things, and it was just a crazy game from way back when. The younger listeners are going, what? Anyway, Q*bert rebooted, that's the name of the title, Q*bert Rebooted is bringing classic character back to mobile and Steam platforms. Story from Techno Buffalo, story by Ron Dunwell. And the image from the show notes shows Q*bert. If you're not familiar with Q*bert, it's this comical little character, kind of this weird, you know, looks like a little Nerf ball with sort of a tubular nose and little legs. And the thing about Q*bert that was so great, you know this, Craig, is it made the funniest kind of gibberish talk, sort of, as it would jump around and so forth. So here's the story. It says, hey, it worked for the other obscure classic arcade characters, so why not give a high-def reboot to Q*bert? Sony's Pictures Entertainment has licensed out the character to Gonzo Games and Sideline Amusements, two studio collaborating to bring you Q*bert Rebooted. The new package, which will be available on Steam and mobile devices, will bring back this isometric gameplay of the original arcade hit in the classic 2D pixelated style, as well as a new 3D HD overhaul akin to Jetpack, Pac-Man, and other classic arcade remakes we've seen over the years. In terms of gameplay differences, the 1982 original, oh my, I remember it, had Q*bert jumping across cubes, but this new reboot version will see him jumping across hexagons instead. Okay. This is the second time Q*bert has been attempted to be revived by a gaming publisher, by the way. Q*bert saw a brief resurgence on the PlayStation in a game back the first time when rebooting classics was all the rage, thanks to the success of the awful Frogger games. I love Frogger. You know, the ones everyone's grandparents brought them because, hey, video games. Well, grandparents, I had this. Am I a grandparent now? Not yet, almost. Q*bert was not as successful of a relaunch, most likely because the only interesting thing about him is his goofy language that he speaks. Well, I think that's a little harsh. Q*bert was kind of entertainment, but then I'm a simple guy who likes pinball. So here's the Gonzo Games. Here's two Gonzo Games and Sideline Amusements, maybe for proving me wrong, he says. The game's simplistic puzzle platforming could very well be a hit on smartphones. I think that's true. Q*bert Rebooted will launch on Steam for PC, Mac, and Linux on July the 8th, so it's already happened, for $5. After that, the studio will focus on iOS and Android before moving on to Kindle Fire and the Nook. I guess it's got to stick somewhere right, so just sort of a joke at the end about all the platforms they're going after.
Well, again, you can see all the games and all the stories that we didn't get to on our show notes page at ComputerAmerica.com. Ralph, thank you so much for being with us here. Again, have a happy sabbatical. And I guess you'll have some stories to tell when you're back from Ireland.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now stay with us because, you know, we have an after the show thing that we do on our live streaming video. All right, so we'll do that. So in the meantime,
60 seconds.
All of you have a great weekend. We're going to be coming back with Curelate in the first hour of the show. Curelate. They is the world's first leading marketing and analytics suite for the visual web. It's kind of techy, but I think it's very useful in business, and you can get some really interesting web analytics. And then in hour 2, we'll have computer and technology news, brought to you by Slimware Utilities, the official optimization software of Computer America. So again, thank you all for being here tonight. Have a great weekend. Catch a movie. Do something fun, and we'll see you on Monday night. So until Monday night, this is Craig Crossman hoping that your hard disk never becomes floppy. See, it still works, Ralph.
10 seconds.
We'll see you Monday night.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.
Okay, and we are out there, but we're still live on the Google Hangout for all of you watching. And thanks so much for being here with us. And we will see you on Monday. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you. Okay? So say goodnight.
All right. See ya.
See ya.